Hey, how's it going everyone? Here today with the S.H MonsterArts Godzilla 1991 Shinjuku Decisive Battle version. So this is a retail release and it's just dropped in Japan today. And yeah, so far pretty excited, eh? We had the gear order come out last year. I do have just off to the side here, so we'll have a look at these together a little bit later in the video. But the box itself, very standard for the MonsterArts line, especially retail ones. And you know, this really reminds me of Kiryu. I think it's like very grey, silvery colours on the box with the kind of metal slash marks as well. But yeah, overall looking very nice. On the back we have a selection of images showcasing the figure. There are no accessories. This is a standard, very slim release. But in some ways I kind of like that with the MonsterArts. But anyway, let's pop them out of the box and we'll get a closer look over in our packaging. So yeah, we just have a clamshell. I have opened this up already, so I did take the plastic off it. There's a extra wrap that will go around them. But bit of a pain putting them back in the box with it on. So yeah, here goes Godzilla 91. Let's check them on the turntable so we can get a good look at the overall finish. Okay, so we've got them here on the turntable swinging around, and you know, this is very similar to that of, like, I guess, the 89 Godzilla, the 2002 version, all very similar base models. The suit looks really cool for this one, so the figure itself is looking great. A bit of a nice base natural grey tone for the body, the lighter grey for the tips of the spines that goes all the way down the tail. The claw colours are really nice. We do have that nice kind of orangey yellow colours mixed in there as well, along with the red in the mouth, along with the teeth as well. The eyes as well, maybe a little bit hard to see, but there is some nice colouring in there, and they are shiny, so it does pick up the light well. And overall, you know, it looks nice. It sticks out really well, and very similar to that of any other base MonsterArts release. So not too much to go into there, except for the fact I feel like the sculpt is looking great so far, and the finish is nice. Yeah, so let's move on and we can check out the articulation on this release. So starting with the head region, we do have about 3 different points of articulation. So we get a nice swivel left and right with the head, as well as being able to look up, like so, and then down is a little bit better. The gap will open up a little bit, but you can move those inner parts easily enough to cover it. But you know, just play around a little bit and you can get into some nice natural looking poses, and overall pretty good range so far, and everything does feel nice to swivel around. Now the mouth itself is on a joint which will open up quite wide, and then also the tongue might be a little bit hard to get to at the moment, but you can lift up the tongue as well, which is really cool. I do want to point out though that I was playing around with this quite a bit before, and I pulled the lower jaw off by pushing it too far, and it was very hard, very hard to get back on the joint in the back, because when you try to push it up, it would end up pushing the peg back. Now I will say be a little bit careful with it, don't pull it off, because if you have to, you know, snap it back into place, it is annoying. Maybe my one is a little bit harder, maybe yours could be really easy to put back in, but you know, it is a caution point, just be careful there because it is fiddly. But even if you do pop it off, it does go in and will hold itself. But you know, it's obviously better if you can keep it attached to the joint. Okay, so moving down the lower part of the body there to the shoulders, we have, what's that about? We've got the elbow joint and upper arm and then the actual shoulder one. And yeah, the motion is really nice around, can lift up pretty far as well. So far, the motion on the top of this body is really nice as well. The elbow joint, a little bit more restricted, but we do get, you know, maybe 10 millimeters of movement in there. And then we have the wrist peg. But there are 2 points of articulation, or at least movement in the wrist. We've got the lower part of the peg and then the upper part. So this will move around on both of them to get a nice range of motion. Now coming down to the torso area, we do have the lower point which will swivel around, so it's not too bad there, but you know, it is a little bit more limited, but going forward not too bad, though it will open up a gap at the back. You may be able to push it a bit further, but I think if you push any further than that, you may risk popping it off that peg. But you know, you do get a nice curvature there, which is quite nice, and then going back you can kind of look straight up as well. So not a huge range, but it's also not super limited either. I think it's pretty average overall. So coming down to the hip and leg area, this one here is a bit more of a semicircle, so you don't get a full swivel around, but you know, it does have a decent range and you can angle it out and in to get a bit more range if needed. Yeah, so you can see it kind of swivels in and out by a few millimeter. Yeah, it kind of depends on the angle you have it at, if you can kind of come in or out or not. Overall not too bad, pretty similar to other figures, definitely not quite as good as the Final Wars Godzilla though. The knee joint in this one's very basic as well. A little bit of motion there. You can kind of put a bit more pressure to straighten out more and then to close in as well. There's a double joint, but again, a little bit more limited, not too bad, but a little bit more motion could be nice. But with this style of design in the suit, they are pretty much upright the whole time, so the extra range of articulation isn't really needed. We do get nice motion in the foot though, can swivel it around, and everything does move freely. So now moving over to obviously my favourite part of these releases, and that is the tail. We have what's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, maybe about 20 points of articulation. And yeah, again, everything feels really nice in this. It does kind of remind me of the 89 Godzilla in that regard. But if you do push the joints too far, it will pop out, but then you can just snap it back into place. Same with the tip as well. So each one is articulated all the way down to the end, which is really good. But I love having the extra points of articulation, so you can really kind of twist and curve the tail around to, you know, some really cool, funky poses. Okay, so we've got the 91 Mecha Ghidorah here along with the new Godzilla, and it's really cool how you can connect all these up. At the moment I have these attached to the stand, but you know, you can pop them off and you know, clamp them around the wrist or the legs and that, which is really cool. So up until now I have had Mecha Ghidorah here set up in this pose along with, I believe it is the Final Wars Godzilla, so I'm looking forward now to switching it around and actually posing it with the 91 Godzilla, because these two look really good together. I love the contrast and colours. But yeah, let's jump into the final thoughts where we do have this set up. Simple release, really nice. In some ways I am thankful for that, since I don't need to worry about accessories in the box, and I'm definitely at the point where I'm looking to throw away all my boxes, especially for figures that don't have accessories. So yeah, light releases like this, I'm actually quite thankful. I don't really need anything. However, in saying that, I would love it if Tamashii released some more cool effect sets with blasts and cool explosion ones like this, which they did at the start of this line. So some more effects like this with some buildings would be really cool. But other than that, I actually quite like the simple release now without all the accessories. I know a lot of people do complain how there aren't any, and I understand why. It is always fun getting them, but for a lot of base releases like this, I'm actually quite thankful for no accessories. But yeah, overall, articulation cool. But you know, the sculpting for this one I think is really nice. The finish, the greys are really cool. I love the colours of the mouth, how the tongue can move and really lift up. Maybe a little bit hard to see there, but that is really cool. The 89 Godzilla is definitely one of my favourite ones, and this one is definitely up there with them. Now the 89 one for me, I just love the suit and design, and this one, you know, is just subtly different and kind of a next step from that one. And you know, seeing this one here, I really hope we get a new 95 Godzilla burning one. Would be really cool, since I don't have the original, because that is expensive. But hopefully we get a re-release for that one there in the near future. I mean, we are getting a new Space Godzilla, so hopefully burning is on the cards for 2024. But yeah, that is it. Nice short and sweet video. Definitely, I think it's a must for any MonsterArts collector. And it's just a cool, badass Godzilla figure to have. So yeah, anyway, if you enjoy, please like and subscribe. Check out any of the other previous MonsterArts reviews if you are new to the line. There are a lot of cool ones. And you know, these ones do tend to increase in price as time goes on. So it's worth jumping on any one that you like that has a good price. So yeah, anyway, again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, cheers!